Today we will be reviewing the Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road Edition, which is brand new in the 4th generation of Tacoma lineups. And there are many changes to this brand new generation, especially this Off-Road Edition. A couple videos back we reviewed the Toyota Tacoma SR5 Edition, which is also vastly different from this one. Steve, what are your initial thoughts about this edition?
Well, I'm 6 foot tall, this is 5 foot back. I don't feel comfortable at all when I lay down. I hate it.
All right, well, let's get into it and see what else is different. All right, so now I'm on the road in the brand new Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. Now don't get it confused, it's not TRD Pro. This is specifically the off-road version, and it is beautiful. I love it. The upgrade versus the last generation, it's phenomenal. On the exterior, it's a Tacoma, but there are some upgrades. First off, we're riding on 33-inch wheels with all-terrain tires. I really like the wheels on this TRD Off-Road. They look phenomenal on it. And then on the front, you do have a new grille. I do actually like this new grille a lot more than the other one. I like the blacked out look. It's really clean. Looks pretty masculine, especially for an off-road truck. It's not going to get a bunch of stuff stuck in it and everything like that. Getting to the headlights, you do have LED headlights. When you look at the hood, it has a little bit of an inward scoop on it. It helps with visibility a little bit. You're already actually sitting really high in this Tacoma, so visibility is not an issue whatsoever. The windshield does have a bit of a rake to it, so you lose a little bit there, but it's not bad at all. We did take it off-road a little bit, and I didn't have any issues seeing. Now you do have more like car style side view mirrors on it. However, they're really small. If I was towing something, I feel like I wouldn't really be able to see it well at all. With that, you do of course have your lane departure warning and whatnot, but it's fine. With the wheel wells, you do on this off-road edition as well, you do have a little bit of a flaring on there. It's plastic, so it shouldn't get too beat up. It's black plastic as well, which I love because you can just take a torch to it and it'll get right back to that nice deep black color if it starts to get gray or scratched up or anything like that. Now moving to the rear of the truck, you do have a 5-foot bed. And this 5-foot bed though, however, is absolutely loaded for all of you overlanders. The power tailgate is actually amazing. So first off, with the touch of a button, you can just drop the tailgate and it automatically lowers. On either side of the truck, left or right of the taillights, there's a button you can press and the tailgate will just automatically raise again. Another thing you can do is just kind of give it a gentle shove up and it'll automatically go up as well. Now on the left-hand side of the tailgate, you do have a cubby for power. Now in this box, there is a 25 amp fuse, and then there is also a USB-C port, as well as your 12-volt cigarette lighter style outlet. Now moving over to the right-hand side of the truck bed, you do have a 110 outlet, and then the lower portion is just a cubby. The upgraded trim of the Toyota Tacoma Off-Road, as well as the TRD Pro, they do have a compressor back there as well. However, this one does not have that, so we're missing out on that. Also, on the truck bed of the Tacoma, it does have in really nice, big, blacked out lettering. It just says Tacoma. I think it looks really clean though, so I just wanted to mention it. Now moving into the interior of the Tacoma Off-Road, it is a lot nicer. It's much nicer, especially than the Tacoma SR5. For the seats, for example, you've got this really nice leather. They're really comfortable. The seating position is great. I've got tons of room between my head and the roof. They're synthetic leather with kind of a nice like two-tone color to them. And then of course, with the Tacoma Off-Road package, they are also heated or ventilated, which is great. Now you will notice too, also, in the Tacoma Off-Road, there is a lot of plastic. However, compared to the older models, where like a lot of the plastic's super loose and feels like it might kind of fall off or fall apart, this is all really sturdy. Like, it doesn't move, you can't there's not a lot of give to it at all. So, I can't really complain about that too much then. You have tons, and I mean tons of buttons for auxiliary inputs. So if you're gonna beef this up for off-roading or anything like that, you can put in new light bars, everything. Now the buttons that are there currently is your headlight brightness, your dash brightness, automatic lights, your traction control. You can turn on or off the 120 volt outlet. You've got 3 auxiliary buttons that are there ready for you to connect into. And then below that there is a button that you can hold down to automatically lower or raise the tailgate, which is kind of nifty. So if you're just pulling up somewhere and somebody's gonna be grabbing something from it and you're not getting out of the car, you can automatically lower it for them. The leather steering wheel is actually very nice. It's textured with like a lot of dimples, so you get kind of a nice feeling when you're holding it. It's a good width, nothing crazy there. On this TRD Off-Road Edition, however, it is also heated, so you have that option as well. Your controls on the steering wheel are extremely standard. They help control the digital gauge cluster. You've got your voice assistants, volume, menu navigation buttons, your driving assistance, and of course your cruise control. One thing that is unfortunate about the steering wheel control, however, is it is not a powered oscillating control. All you have is a manual lever to position the steering wheel how you see fit, which that's not the end of the world, but I kind of like the articulate powered steering wheel control. It's handy, it's nice. One thing I do love about the interior of the Tacoma Off-Road Edition is the red TRD power button. It just sticks out, it looks good, it contrasts very well against all the black that's in here. Basically the entirety of the interior is a shade of black, gray, or there's like a singular silver piece on the interior. But I really like the red button that sticks out and tells everybody that looks inside this is a TRD. Now, in contrast to the SR5 that we reviewed a couple videos back, you'll notice that the screen is actually much larger in the TRD Off-Road Edition. It's actually 6 inches larger. You get 8 inches in the SR5, and in this TRD Off-Road, you get 14 inches. So out of the many upgrades, you get a much larger screen. The infotainment center on the TRD Off-Road, it is rather simplistic. However, there are a lot of things that you do get. You get Wi-Fi, and what's best about it, since this is an off-road edition, is there's like 13 different camera options that you can look at. You can look at when you're crawling up some rocks. You can look at the undercarriage. When you come up to brake, it's automatically switching to a camera view to show how close you are. When you back up, of course, it's got your rear view camera, as well as many others. One thing I do actually really like about this, we've complained about it in the Subaru videos, we've complained about it in the Lexus videos, your climate controls are physical and they are not taking up a portion of the screen. So below the infotainment center, you have your volume knob, which is also physical, which I like a lot. But below that, you have your controls for your dual zone climate, as well as your heated steering wheel, your heated and ventilated seats, your defrost buttons, your AC switch, and they're all these like nice, cool silver toggles. And then below your climate control center, you do have a singular wireless charging pad for a cell phone. What I like about it is right now I'm actually using it for GPS, and it's kind of angled up at you, so you don't even need another phone holder on the side here. And then to the right of that, you do have 2 USB-C ports, as well as a little cubby area for storage. And then in the center, you have your typical drive shifter, as well as your parking brake. In this one, it is an electronic parking brake. And then you have your mode selector, which is the kind of gear knob selector that's below there. So you can got 2 high, 4 high, or 4 low, as well as your tow haul button, your crawl control, and your drive modes. To the right of that, you do have your tow mode, your camera view button, you can lock the rear diff, and you can disconnect the sway bars, all electronically. So that's fantastic. And then to the very right of all of those, you have yet another button that you can dial into if you're adding more auxiliary features or anything like that. So that is fantastic as well. Now, of course, after your cup holders, you do have a storage compartment. It's just your standard storage compartment. You don't have any power in this one, and it's actually really not all that big. You know, a lot of trucks, they've got the massive storage in the center. This one, not so much. Now, above your infotainment center, you do have your rear view mirror with your standard 3 HomeLink buttons. However, this one does actually have a digital rear view mirror as well. Above that, you do have a sunglass storage case. You've got the sliders for your sunroof, as well as the slider for your rear window, and of course your lights and SOS button. Now, moving along to the passenger side of the vehicle, it's pretty standard and straightforward. You've got a nice storage compartment on the door, as well as a spot for a large water bottle at the bottom of the door, and your glove compartment. The glove compartment in this is actually rather large, much larger than other glove compartments on vehicles that we've reviewed recently. Now, there is one interesting thing that I have never seen in a vehicle before. If you look past the infotainment center, you have a portable speaker that you can actually remove from the car entirely. It presses in there to charge, but it is a JBL speaker. The Tacoma Off-Road is outfitted with a JBL stereo system, and actually in the back behind the driver's passenger seat in the rear, you do have a JBL subwoofer as well. There's not a whole lot to talk about within the back seat. You do have 2 USB-C Type-C ports, as well as another 3-pronged outlet, which is kind of crazy. You know, this truck in total has 2 110-volt outlets with, 3 prongs. So not bad. Can't complain about that. Also, you do have under the seat storage in the back, and a little bit of behind the seat storage. It's really not much at all. On the passenger side, there's like a small amount. You can fit something back there, but not a lot. Now, the space is cramped in the back. It's not made for Steve to sit in there while I'm driving. Being 6 foot plus, you're not gonna be comfortable back there. It's not made to take all your friends off-roading, unfortunately. But nonetheless, you can cram a kid back there and get along your way. All right, now we're doing our 0 to 60 test in the Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. We're using a race box to get an accurate result. So let's see what she can do in sport mode. .5 seconds. The V4 with the turbo is not doing it much justice on the speed, that's for certain. It's really slow off the line. It's not made to race around though. Actually, the truck drives phenomenal. It does have, the only upgraded thing about the suspension on this truck is the Bilstein dampeners that it has. So basically, it's got upgraded shock absorption. That's just to put it plainly. But no, the driving is smooth. I can't wait to hear what Steve thinks about it. It handles really well. I will say though, there are a couple things that I do not like whatsoever. The turn radius is absolutely abysmal. I was trying to do a U-turn in a 2-lane road, and I actually had to do a 3-point turn. It's absolutely bonkers. It doesn't make any sense.
So when you go to Toyota.com, 2 engine option, one is the iForce and one is the iForce Max. So the trim that comes with the iForce 2.4 liter is the SR5. They both engine producing only 228 horsepower and 243 foot-pound of torque. And then any trim level about the SR5 has a little bit more horsepower. It's 278 horsepower and 317 foot-pound of torque. And then for the iForce Max option, producing 326 horsepower and 465 foot-pound of torque. There's a lot of torque, for a little car. And they all come with an 8-speed automatic transmission. However, they have an option for a 6-speed manual. In terms of towing capacity, I have to ask Josh. He is expert on this, and he has done so many off-roading. I have done maybe just one.
Well, the 2024 Tacoma Off-Road Edition does have a towing package on it, and it's rated at 6,500 pounds. So if you are going overlanding, you are able to tow another trailer or whatever you're looking to do. So you can definitely pull something with this, a small RV, a small boat, or a teardrop trailer.
It's cool. But in terms of the interior space, I feel like it's lack of space, especially you have kids. For example, the rear seat is really small. You can put like child seat, like an infant baby seat in it, but as soon as they growing like to 3 or 4 year old, there's no more room for their legs. So you might, if you are soccer there, you might think about you might take this as a consideration. And also something I really like is a lot of hooks. Like, I don't know what's that for. Maybe Josh know, but I guess this is for the wife to go get diaper run, so you can put all this gold shoe back, hook it up. I counted it's like 5 hooks. 2 is behind the rear seat, and 1 is here, and then somewhere I forget where is it. It just hooks is just pretty much everywhere. But overall, I really like it. Like, it just looks so inside out. It really look like muscular, you know. I never see a lot of vehicle like this. And the one thing I really don't like is the power. This car has 278 horsepower, but compared to the SR trim, SR5 or SR trim, it's not big of a difference, even I put on sport mode. So the acceleration is not there yet. Maybe as a turbo lag, maybe I have to try out on the highway so I can feel the true power, but city driving is not that exciting, you know. In terms of the cabin noise, it's acceptable. I don't expect BMW quality like the last video that we did. Like I said, it's acceptable. The road noise is pretty loud. I believe it's probably the all-terrain tire. Besides that, everything pretty solid. And I do like it has less plastic compared to the SR5 model. At least you have some kind of fake vinyl leather on the door panel instead of just all plastic.
Now, in terms of pricing, the Toyota Tacoma in 2024 does come in 8 different trims for the 4th generation. The SR comes in at $31,500. The SR5 comes in at $36,200. The TRD Pre-Runner comes in at $38,100. The TRD Sport, $39,400. TRD Off-Road, which is what we're driving today, starts at $41,800. However, with the options that we currently have on the one here, comes in just under $55,000 at $54,829. The Tacoma Limited comes in at $52,000. The Trail Hunter at $62,900, and of course the TRD Pro coming in at $63,900. So the Tacoma is quite pricey. For example, the TRD Off-Road that we're driving today is basically the same price as last year's TRD Pro. So I guess it's up to you if you want to spend that. Now, in conclusion, what do we think of the 4th generation of the Tacoma? You know, honestly, I think it's a huge improvement from the 3rd generation, both in driving factors, entertainment factors, look factors, but there are a couple pain points. Steve, what's your pain point?
Well, the price, and second, they get rid of the V6. That is a downside for me, I think.
Yeah, the price point is quite high. I can agree with that. And yeah, this 4-cylinder, turbocharged 4-cylinder is very, very sluggish.
Yeah.
Now, in terms though of a 4th generation Tacoma, those are probably about the only things I dislike. Other than that, yeah, it's upgrades all around.
Very good, yeah. The style, the interior, I don't know I would buy it. But if I go off-road all in, then maybe, because the feature is pretty awesome for off-roading.
Yeah, definitely. You know, honestly, if I were buying something specifically for off-roading, I'd probably take a look at that Trail Hunter one. Yeah. But this is a nice truck still. Nice truck. That's a nice truck. But the bed's too small for Steve even.
Yeah,
so,
I can't even fit in the back.
Yeah, so if you're trying to buy a truck for truck purposes, you need a different truck. Overall though, it does drive really well. It's a good looking truck. And you know, I think Toyota's going in the right direction for their new generations of Tacomas.
All right, see you next time.
See you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe.